to take a few minutes and allow yourself to really arrive. Our bodies are here, but in so many cases the rest of us is not. Allow the awareness and the focus to arrive. Draw the awareness to your breath. Don't try to change it. We're not doing pranayama. Just allow the awareness to merge with your breath. You'll get distracted. Sounds will come. Thoughts will come. Sensations will come. But don't worry. Don't fight them off. Just gently draw the awareness back to the breath. The moment that you notice you've gotten distracted, just bring it back. Just keep drawing that awareness into the breath. Draw it inward. If you feel like the mind is still too distracted, you can add a very simple mantra to this. You can add the mantra of so hum. So on the inhalation. And hum on the exhalation. It means I am that. I am one with the universe. I am one with all there is. So Just allow yourself to gently chant Soham on the inhalations and exhalations to help the awareness and the attention stay anchored in the breath. Just take another moment, allowing that awareness to expand. As you sit in this sacred land, this lap of the Himalayas, this land of yoga, meditation, this land of awakening. You sit here as so many have sat before you, in this holy place. Just allow that awareness to expand. Slowly and gently bring the palms of your hands together, chest level, and rub them gently against each other. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Slowly and gently lower the hands and open your eyes. Welcome to Satsang. We'll start as always with a question that's come in advance and then open it up to any questions that anyone here has. What gets you excited about life? What gets me excited about life? Many things. Number one, how incredibly patient the universe is. How no matter how many times we get distracted into ignorance, into illusion, into anger, into ego, into greed, into all of the places that we all get pulled, that no matter how many times we get pulled off track, grace is always there just to keep welcoming us back. You know, most relationships in life, people do hit kind of a point where they say, you know what? I forgave you the first time, forgave you the second time, forgave you the 10th time, but now I'm done. Like now it's just been too many times. But grace is never like that. Doesn't matter how many times you've acted in anger, how many times you've gotten jealous or greedy or lustful or arrogant or mired in your ego, whatever it may be. Every time is fresh. There's no demerits. It's not like, well, you made such a mess of it last time that you're going to have to start, 10 feet behind anyone else this time. None of that. Just fresh opportunity. Fresh opening, fresh presence of grace every single time we come back. There's no other relationship I know of where the arms are so open and available and present no matter how many times you've messed up in the past, no matter how badly you've messed up in the past. But the arms of grace are. And so to me, that's very exciting. What also excites me is how, because the universe is so patient, there isn't any sense that you're running out of time. Yes, why not get enlightened in this life? Absolutely, why not? We all can, we have the opportunity. And if you don't, it's okay. You got next life. You got the life after that. This idea that, so many of us are so used to deadlines. Need this in by 5 p.m. Need this in by tomorrow morning. Need this in by this time, that time. And the universe is like, you know what? You want to do it this life? Great. You don't want to do it this life? That's okay. You'll come back. You'll do it next life. You can do it the life after that. And again, there isn't any judgment. There's no sense that we're somehow bad or wrong if we don't actually clear all of our karmic debts in this life, or fulfill all of our soul's journey in this life. So there's this infinite patience that to me is so beautiful. And then the other last thing, again, there's so much that excites me about life. I love life. But just one last thing for now is all of the beautiful ways that we have in our human existence of interacting with the divine creation. So spiritually we know we're not the body, we're soul. We know that the highest truth, the deepest truth, is that all of these senses, this body, that it's all an illusion. That ultimately we are just soul, we're spirit. We're never born, we never die. There's no place I begin, no place I end. And yet, in the midst of that very deep and true and powerful, highest spiritual teachings and spiritual truth, we also have this beautiful human existence with these beautiful bodies through which we are able to actually experience the divine creation. And so, yes, the body on some level is an illusion. Anything other than soul on some level is an illusion. And using your eyes to watch Mother Ganga flow is such a gift. Using your ears to listen to the sound of Vedic mantras be chanted is such a gift. Tasting water when you're thirsty and you take it in, especially if you're somewhere where you can just bend down and take it from a river or a stream. Taking in that natural world, that exquisite creation. Using all of our senses, using this body, not as something to be ignored or denied, but as this amazing instrument that we've been given to know the creation. So the body can't necessarily know God. Like, we can't know God with our brain. That's what we need to drop into the heart for. But we can know God's creation. We can experience the divine. You know, so many people say, how do I experience God? I want to see God, feel God. And that's something that so many people yearn for. And yet it's something that so many find it really difficult to ever actually experience. But the good news is that even if you can't actually yet see God or feel God, you can see and feel God's creation. We all have that ability. We can see, we can feel, we can hug the trees. We can dip in the sacred Mother Ganga or all of our water bodies. We can hear the birds. We can lie in the grass, in the soil. So until we have the ability to really experience the Creator, we have the ability to experience the creation, which to me is incredibly beautiful and incredibly exciting. Questions? Yes.
Sadhviji Pranam. My name is Bhadresh Pandit. I come from Tanzania, and we are 11 of us. Some have come from UK, and we are really honored that you mentioned the names of our deceased, and you prayed for them. So we're really very, very thankful. Thank you so much. Sadhviji, my question is this, that I've seen quite a few people in our relatives and friends who have been really good, but they've suffered whole of their life and they ended up with really bad disease. And bad people, they don't have any kind of this disease, you know, they're enjoying the life. So that, it confuses me.
There is a really tragic irony about the fact that whenever, especially young people die, because older people, we all sort of expect that eventually older people are going to die. But when especially someone who we don't expect that they're going to die gets very sick or dies, almost inevitably, it seems that they were the sweetest, the purest, the most good, the most giving, the most honest, the most caring. And it is this really interesting, tragic irony, as you say, that so many people who are really good people suffer. And then those who, as you say, are really bad people don't seem to suffer. Now, the dilemma with that is our definition of suffering. And our idea of what determines a karmic path. So, if we understand karma simply to be that wealth, health, success, longevity are rewards, and illness, failure, loss, early death are punishments, then it makes no sense. Those who should be rewarded are being punished, those who should be punished are being rewarded. And yet, that's not actually how it works. The law of karma has nothing to do with rewards and punishments. There's no objective sense that wealth is good and poverty is bad. That health is good and sickness is bad. That success is good and failure is bad. Our karmic journey has one goal and only one goal in mind. Our ultimate freedom. Ultimately, our moksha, our enlightenment, our God realization, self-realization. Now, that which we get in life, that which manifests as the current destiny, based on all of my past karmas from this life and other lives, is exactly that which is most conducive for me to take my next step closer to awareness, to awakening. And for some, it happens in poverty. For some, it happens in wealth. For some, it happens in illness. For some, it happens in vibrant health. It depends where we are on our karmic journey. But you could look at somebody who's succeeding and have no idea where they are in their karmic journey and what role this current, very sort of superficial level success is playing in their ultimate karmic journey. Versus someone who's failed or lost. We have no idea what role this very momentary, superficial level of failure or loss, what is that playing? What role is that playing? We don't know. But what we do know is that whatever befalls us, our question always needs to be the same, which is, how can I use this experience to get closer to God? How can I use this experience to peel back the layers of me, of ignorance, of false identification? The second piece about this that's important is when we see someone who, as you say, is a bad person, meaning they're dishonest, they're cruel, they take advantage, they harm others, and we see them succeeding. We look at them and we think they're being rewarded. They're doing such bad things, but they're being rewarded. But what we don't know is what actually their internal experience is about. I tell you this personally, I've been in so many situations, so many, where we arrive in some city, let's say. Many, many, many members of the community are there to receive. The home to which we're going, let's say, is a home of people who seem to be leaders in the community. Very, very successful, very, very well-to-do, lots of fancy cars in the driveway, big, big house, everybody comes over. And you know that everybody else is thinking, wow, wish we could be like them. Aren't they lucky? And yet, the moment everybody else leaves, and we're left just sitting with that family, the tears start. And you have no idea the suffering that is happening in those homes. They don't share it. They don't tell the jet to maintain karna. We're very worried ki samne wale kya sochenge, sari jet chali jayegi. So we put on this happy face, especially if we look like we're big, big successes. But what I can tell you is that inside story is actually how much suffering there is. The other last piece of this, because of course we know that the law of karma is perfect. We just don't know when things are going to blossom. You plant seeds, some of them blossom right away. Some take months, some take years. Somebody cheats you today, there's no way of knowing when that seed is going to blossom. Somebody helps you today, no way of knowing when that seed is going to blossom. But the last piece of this, when we think about people who are very, very good, very wonderful, and especially in younger ages when they suffer so much, disease, death, remember that according to our philosophy, the whole teaching of karma and reincarnation, we're actually only here in a physical body in order to work our way through all of our karmic debt. We're here because we have to be here. Because in our last birth, we didn't quite get full moksha, full freedom, full enlightenment. We didn't finish our karmic debts in the last life. So we came back. But we have a lot of people who, in their previous life, were very, very, very close. Maybe there were just one or two remaining karmas that needed to be worked out, or something left in a karmic bank account that needed to be withdrawn before they ultimately attain moksha and stop the cycle of birth and rebirth. And these tend to be, in many cases, those who suffer and die young. Their work was done. They came as these almost enlightened beings, hence the fact that they were so good, that they were the ones who were like angels on earth. But they finished their work quickly. They didn't need a full 80, 90, 100 years to get through as much of their karmic bank account as they could. They were done much sooner. And so they left. But we have to stop thinking in our minds of illness and death as somehow a punishment. It isn't. It's the karmic unfolding of our own path to God. And so, in order to really understand that, you would have to have a vision that enabled you to see an entire tapestry. I mean, I'll give you an example. So we just finished Navaratri, and during the time of Navaratri, we had this beautiful Ram Leela taking place. Now, of course, the Ram Leela is just the essence, the sar of the Ramayana. There's not actually the time and a couple hours a day of singing and dancing and drama to get into all of the details. But for me, one of the most powerful teachings in the Ramayana, and it explains to me this very, very well, is if you begin with the story of when King Dashrath had no offspring, right? He wanted offspring, he had no offspring. Now, at that time, he's out hunting. At the same time that he's out hunting, we have the very, very, very beautiful being whose name is escaping me at the moment. Sankat Kumar. Shravan Kumar, thank you. I remembered the Kumar, it was the Shravan that took a moment, thank you. Shravan Kumar is out, he's carrying his parents on the pilgrimage. His parents are blind, he's taking them on yatra. They stop at a hermitage, he leaves his parents in the hermitage, he goes to the river to fetch water. Fetches the water. As he's fetching water, King Dashrath is hunting. He hears a noise, thinks it's a deer, flings his arrow from his bow, and it hits Shravan Kumar. Now he rushes to see what he thought was going to be this deer, and he sees Shravan Kumar. And obviously he feels horrible. He was a good man. Shravan Kumar says, there's nothing you can do for me. My life is flowing out of me. He said, but my parents are in this hermitage. Please take this water to them. They're blind. Tell them what has happened. So King Dashrath takes the water. He goes. Shravan Kumar's parents hear him. And they say, Shravan Kumar, Shravan Kumar. What's he going to say, right? So he's silent. And again, they say, Shravan Kumar. Finally, he tells them what happened. And they curse him. They curse him. That as we are dying today of a broken heart due to the loss of our son, so you will die of a broken heart due to the loss of your son. Now, we had no sons. But now you look at how the entire karmic tapestry had to be woven. He had just been cursed by people of very pure heart, that he was going to die of a broken heart from the loss of his son. Fast forward, Bhagwan Ram, this embodiment, the epitome, the divine embodiment of righteousness, goodness, integrity, honesty, everything we strive for. Bhagwan Ram was the embodiment of that. You couldn't be more good than Ram was. Yet, what happens? This day of the coronation, he ends up getting sent out into the jungle. As King Dashrath watches helplessly as Ram, Lakshman, Sita go, as he cries for him, with his final words, he's actually calling out Shravan Kumar's name because he remembers. And I love that story when we think about the tapestry of karma. Because otherwise you look at the Ramayana, you look at Bhagwan Ram and you say, why? Why? Why would someone who's the embodiment of goodness forget that he was the divine for a moment? Suffer so much like that? How could he possibly be sent away from the kingdom, sent into the jungle? Because his father needed to die of a broken heart at the loss of his son. And in the same way, when we look at the suffering of very good people, if we simply can step back far enough to see where all of the karmic threads interweave, we would see a tapestry that would show us threads like that. Beautiful. Other questions? Yes. He's just bringing you a mic so we can hear.
Sadhviji, could you please explain the significance of Kalpavriksha?
Sure. Kalpavriksha literally means the wish-fulfilling tree. Just last week, a very, very sweet young girl was asking me whether if we whisper what we want in Nandi's ear, do we get it? She was actually part of the Ram Leela troupe, and they had gone up to the Nilkand Mahadev Mandir. She wanted to know whether if she whispered in Nandi's ear what she wanted, would she get it? And we have in our beautiful spiritual heritage all of these different opportunities to get our wishes fulfilled. And yes, there's power, of course. Whether we say the divine is working through a particular type of tree, whether we say the divine is working through Nandi, whether we say the divine is just working through the divine, nameless, formless, infinite. However we conceive of that divine, can our wishes be fulfilled? Of course. The dilemma is we have no idea what to wish for. And so we end up really stuck because sometimes we wish for something that we think we want, we actually get it, and we realize what an awful mess it was. Sometimes by God's grace, we wish for something, we don't get it. We realize later, thank God I didn't get it. But the other dilemma is that when we wish for something that we don't get, we assume that the divine, whether in the form of a tree, whether in the form of a bull, whether in the form of any form or no form, that God is like a vending machine. That we're just going to go and we're going to ask for what we want and we're going to do our ceremonial parikramas around, or we'll tie the string, or we'll say the prayer, or we'll give our dakshina, or we'll do the puja, as though we were simply putting money in a vending machine. And then when it doesn't give us what we want, we think the machine is broken. I need a different guru. I need a different mantra. I need a different mandir. I need a different religion. It's not working. This vending machine is not working. And we become broken. The divine gives us what we need. That which, as I was just saying, is that which is the most conducive for us to take our next step closer to God. And God doesn't play favorites. So the dilemma becomes, if I go to the Kalpavriksha and I say, I should be number one in my class. Well, if I get that, that means that somehow God decided that I was more important than all of the other students in the class, also praying I should be number one. It would imply that somehow any of these divine embodiments were somehow playing favorites. And if you just got there first, that you could be made number one in class. Or you could be the one who got this thing that everybody wants. But God doesn't play favorites. God's not going to give you somebody else's job just because you came and prayed at the Kalpavriksha for it. Or give you someone else's anything. Because that would imply that God didn't love that other person as much as they love you. So this is where we have to know what to ask for. The wishes that get fulfilled are those that are in alignment with the divine flow of the universe. If I go and I say to Kalpavriksha, I would like Ganga to start flowing in the other direction, please. It should go from Ganga Sagar to Gomukh. Tika? I'll fast, I'll do my puja. Just go us taraf bhej do, up the mountain. It's not going to work. Because there is a flow of Ganga. Just like there's a flow of the universe. There's a flow of the divine. And God's not going to reverse the flow that impacts everybody else on earth just because you asked him to. So we learn to pray for actually that which is in the divine flow and that which takes us closer to God. So we pray for surrender. We pray to be free of our ego. We pray to be free of ignorance. We pray to be free of anger. We pray to learn how to forgive. We pray to have more and more bhakti, more and more gyan. To be able to have every minute and every moment be karma yoga. To use every action as yoga. We pray to make our will God's will. To come into alignment with the divine. We get a full moon. And the moon doesn't ever change shape. The moon's shape is always the same. But we get a full moon when the moon comes into better alignment between the sun and the earth. When we have a new moon, Amavasya, you could say the moon had gone out of alignment. She was not able to reflect any light of the sun onto the earth. But could you imagine if the moon in Amavasya said, I'm not going anywhere, and started trying to make the sun move? I want to reflect light onto the earth, but this is where I am, and the sun has to come to me. Well, she wouldn't get very far. She'd never be able to reflect light. Because the sun, unlike the moon, unlike the earth, isn't actually moving in orbit around us. So the only way to get that alignment is for the moon to move. In the same way in our lives, when we are looking for that light, for whatever we are hoping for, instead of expecting the rest of the universe to move or expecting God to somehow make the rest of the universe move for us. We pray for the wisdom, the humility, the ability, the clarity to be able to move into alignment. We pray to be able to use every minute and every moment getting closer to God. So if those are your wishes, they'll always be fulfilled. And otherwise, yeah, there's definitely a power. I mean, there's the power of miracles. God is the miracle. So whether it's miracles through the tree, miracles through Nandi, miracles through any other infinite way, they happen. But as Pujya Swamiji always says, the greatest miracle is you. So use your wishes to make yourself happen. And to really experience that miracle of you in this life. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evenings. A beautiful morning and day to our family joining us from all over the world through this gift of technology. And I look so forward to being together with you all tomorrow. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening and so much love to you.